Hello students, I hope you all are fine and spending some time to learn. In this video session, we are going to discuss about measurement of mass and time. Measurement of mass and time. As we know, mass and time are physical quantities. Before discussing these topics, let me recall few points. Matter is the various objects that we see around us. Each object consists of tiny particles called atoms. Two or more atoms combine together to form molecules. A large number of molecules bind together to form matter. Therefore, matter is made up of molecules. Matter is made up of molecules. On this basis, mass can be defined as amount of matter contained in an object. Amount of matter contained in an object. For example, this chalk is an object. This chalk is an object and it is made up of molecules. The amount of matter contained in this chalk is the mass of this chalk. The amount of matter contained in this chalk is the mass of this chalk. Now we are going to discuss about different types of instruments used for different types of objects. For example, if you go to the market, you see a particular instrument used for measuring mass of vegetables. And if you go to the jewelry shop, you see another type of instrument used for measuring mass of gold or silver. And if you go to the grocery shop, you find another instrument for measuring mass of rice and dal. Why do we use different types of measuring instruments for different types of objects? Let me explain. Just have a look at these pictures. These are the different types of measuring instruments of mass. Now we are going to discuss about a few types of measuring instruments of mass. First, physical balance. It is used to measure the mass of smaller objects very accurately. For example, this physical balance is used to measure the mass of gold, silver or diamond, and it is also used in the laboratory to measure the mass of chemicals. Next one, beam balance. Beam balance is used to measure the mass of an object by comparing it with the known mass. For example, it is used to measure the mass of vegetables. And nowadays, electronic balance and compression balance are used to measure the mass of any object, because these gives the mass of an object very accurately and quickly. Now we are going to discuss the construction and working of beam balance. Beam balance is used to measure the mass. It consists of a horizontal beam supported at its center. The beam can move freely about its support and a pointer is attached to the center of the beam. Two similar pans are suspended at equal distances from the center of the beam by means of strings of equal lengths. These strings should be equal in length. The object whose mass is to be measured is kept on one pan, that is called unknown quantity, and the standard known masses are kept on the other pan till the beam is horizontal and the pointer is vertical. Then the sum of the known masses gives the mass of the object. The sum of the known masses gives the mass of the object. Now we are going to discuss about unit of mass. What is the SI unit of mass? Kilogram. In short form, we can write kg. SI unit of mass is kilogram, that is kg. Have a look at this picture. These weights are generally made of iron and hexagonal in shape. At its bottom, a lead seal is fixed by the Department of Standard Weights and Measures of the government. At its bottom, lead seal is fixed by the Department of Standard Weights and Measures of the government. Now we are going to learn about multiples and submultiples. If you want to measure the heavier bodies, bigger units are needed. If you want to measure the lighter bodies, that is less than 1 kilogram, smaller units are needed. If you want to measure the heavier bodies, we need bigger units. If you want to measure the lighter bodies, we need smaller units. If you want to measure the mass of heavier bodies, multiples are used. If you want to measure the lighter bodies, submultiples of kilogram is used. For example, 100 kilogram is equal to 1 quintal. 100 kilogram is equal to 1 quintal. 1000 kilogram is equal to 1 metric ton or 20 quintals. Next, submultiples, that is less than 1 kilogram. What is the smaller unit? Milligram. 1000 milligram is equal to 1 gram. 1000 milligram is equal to 1 gram. 1000 gram is equal to 1 kilogram. 1000 gram is equal to 1 kilogram. Using these multiples and submultiples, we can measure the mass of heavier bodies and lighter bodies. Now we are going to discuss about measurement of time. Time can be defined as an interval between two events. Time can be defined as an interval between two events. If you want to measure time, we need some standard unit. Before discussing this, let me explain what is solar day and what is mean solar day. We know that Earth rotates about its axis. This in turn results in the formation of day and night. However, the people on the surface of the earth, the sun appears revolving around the earth. The sun appears revolving around the earth. The sun appears to be its highest position at noon. The sun appears to be its highest position at noon. So the solar day can be defined as the interval between two successive noons. The interval between two successive noons. What is noon? The sun appears at its highest position, that is called noon. And the interval between two successive noons is called solar day. What is mean solar day? The distance of the earth from the sun keeps on changing. Due to this change in distance, the length of the day increases or decreases. Due to this change in distance, the length of the day increases or decreases. For that, we have to find the average of all solar days. So the mean solar day is defined as the average of all solar days in which the earth completes one revolution around the sun. The average of all solar days in which the earth completes one revolution around the sun. The mean solar day is further divided into 24 hours. and 1 hour is further divided into 60 minutes. The 1 minute is further divided into 60 seconds. So 1 mean solar day is equal to 24 hours, 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes and 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. How many seconds are there in one solar day? For that, we have to multiply hours and minutes and seconds. 24 hours, 60 minutes, 60 seconds. If you multiply, you will get 86,400 seconds. So, how many seconds are there in one solar day? 86,400 seconds are there in one solar day. So, 1 second is equal to 1 by 86,400 part of the mean solar day. 1 second is equal to 1 by 86,400 part of the mean solar day. So the SI unit of time is second. What is the SI unit of time? Second. SECOND. In short form, we can write as S. We are going to discuss about measurement of time. Have a look at these pictures. In ancient days, they used water clocks, sand clocks, sundials to measure the time. Nowadays, we are using mechanical watches, quartz watches to measure the time. And also, electronic watches are also available these days. And also, we are using stop clocks, stop watches to measure the certain events. Stop clocks and stop watches to measure the certain events. These can be started and stopped as we wish, and it is used to measure the certain events. For example, the time taken by an athlete to run in 100-meter race, the time taken by any particular experiment, and etc. Next, we will learn reading 24-hour clock. First, we see 12-hour clock. The day, that is 24 hours of the day, is divided into two periods, that is AM and PM. AM antemeridium means before midday. PM postmeridium means after noon. In AM, the time from 12 at night to 12 at noon is given suffix AM. The time from 12 at noon to 12 at night is given suffix PM. So whenever you write the time in 12-hour clock, you should write the time with AM or PM. For example, 1 PM means after 12 at noon, and 3 AM after 12 at night. Next, 24-hour clock. The day runs from midnight to midnight, that is 0 to 23, 24 hours. This 24-hour clock has 4 digits. 00.00 hours means 12 at night. 12.00 hours means 12 at noon. The time of arrival or departure of trains, aeroplanes, etc. is given by 24-hour clock. Next, we are going to learn interconversion of 24-hour clock time to 12-hour time. For example, 18 hours 57 minutes on 24-hour clock. If you want to change this into 12-hour clock, you have to use this formula. Time on 24-hour clock minus 12 hours. What is the time on 24-hour clock? 18 hours 57 minutes minus 12 hours. If you subtract, you will get 6 hours 57 minutes and you have to write PM. And the next example, time on 24-hour clock is 23 hours 25 minutes. So you have to write the time on 24-hour clock minus 12. What is the time on 24-hour clock? 23 hours 25 minutes minus 12 hours. If you subtract, you will get the answer 11 hours 25 minutes PM. You have to write PM. On the third example, 9 hours 30 minutes. In this case, the time on 24-hour clock is less than 12. The time on 24-hour clock is less than 12. So in that case, what you have to do, write the time as it is and you have to write AM. 9 hours 30 minutes AM. Now we are going to discuss about the advantages of 24-hour clock. Advantages of 24-hour clock. 24-hour clock, the time is shown by 4 digits. In 24-hour clock, the time is shown by 4 digits. The first 2 digits represent hour, next 2 digits represent minutes. The first 2 digits represent hour, next 2 digits represent minutes. If the time is 00.01 to 12.00 means morning to noon. Morning to noon. If the time is 12.01 to 23.59 means noon to midnight. Noon to midnight. In 24-hour clock, there is no AM, there is no PM, there is no morning, there is no evening. So it prevents a lot of confusion. It prevents a lot of confusion. In 24-hour clock, no AM, no PM, no morning and no evening. So it prevents a lot of confusion. And in 24-hour clock, the same time is not repeated. Same time is not repeated. Estimating time for common daily activities. Estimating isn't skill. It helps to complete your work within time. Estimating isn't skill. It helps to complete your work within time. For example, your task is reading 1 page in 5 minutes. Your task is reading 1 page. Your estimated time is 5 minutes. It means you estimate that you could read 1 page in 5 minutes. The actual time can be recorded by using stopwatch. Here, what is the actual time? 8 minutes. The estimated time is not same as actual time. The estimated time is not same. However, by constant practice, you can improve your estimation. Next one, seconds pendulum. What is pendulum? A small weight suspended freely by a light thread such that it can swing freely is called pendulum. What is pendulum? A small weight suspended freely by a light thread such that it can swing freely is called pendulum. The length between the point of suspension and the center of the bob is called length of pendulum. And pull the brass bob gently towards the left and release it. You will find that the brass bob swings towards B and C and then returns back to the position A. The movement of the brass bob from position A to C and back C to A is called one oscillation. The movement of the brass bob from one position A to C and back C to A is called one oscillation. It has been found that the time taken to complete one oscillation by this brass bob, the length of whose string is 100 centimeter, is 2 seconds. A pendulum which takes 2 seconds to complete one oscillation is called seconds pendulum. A pendulum which takes 2 seconds to complete one oscillation is called seconds pendulum. In this class, we discuss the following topics: measurement of mass and its SI unit, measuring instruments of mass, measurement of time and its SI unit, reading 24-hour clock, interconvention of 24-hour clock to 12-hour clock and 12-hour clock to 24-hour clock, estimating time and simple pendulum. Dear students, revise and practice definition for mass and time and their SI units. Interconvention of 24-hour clock to 12-hour clock and 12-hour clock to 24-hour clock. Thank you.